Jai Hind. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the podcast with Mr. L. Ravi Chandra Garu, Senior Advocate, Telangana High Court. It's a pleasure having you, sir. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sridhan, for having me.
No, it's a pleasure, sir. You and I have been chatting about a lot of things over the past 30 years since I know you, and knowing about you, 48 years plus in the legal industry. I just thought I'll, find out what is it that's motivated you to come into the space of electoral, administration, and you've always stayed away from them.
Yes, I stayed away from any focus light. Even when very good friends of mine became judges or became advocate generals, I stayed away. The last I did was when they became something, go shake hands and then move off. Mm-hmm. I think I'm allergic to light. Having said that, the reason why I think I came into the contest is something serious. I see a huge fall, a deep fall in the way we are communicating. When I say we, I'm talking about the bar versus the bench versus the bar. We emit among ourselves at the bar is all going through a terrible time. Mm-hmm. For example, we've just finished a bar council election without taking names, without taking examples. I think the scale at which it was done, the manner in which it was done, was more like elections to a parliamentary election, and I don't mean it respectfully. The way it's done to an MLA's post, it was professionally unacceptable levels of exposure. And the other aspect was, the whole idea of partying culture and party culture. Now, these two blocks are something that's not going to unite the bar. And the unification of the bar is an imperative for negotiating with the bench. Today, judges can say anything and get away with it. They don't have to respect the bar. They don't have to speak with a certain sense of involvement. There is a belief among some people that the institution is owned by one part. If these things have to break, if we have to hit the glass ceiling, then we need somebody who has no peripheral interest in the system, whose interest in the system is deep-rooted, who has no personal favors to get any longer. Mm-hmm. And that is why I said, if not now, when? And how long will you sit in the easy chair and say, ye nahi hona, wo nahi hona, itla gaakudadu, atla gaakudadu? Put yourself on the hot seat and see how it works. I'm trying.
I think it's, I don't know who said it, but, if you're not in politics, you have no right to comment about what its state is currently. Right?
But Professor G.M. Joad also said that a noble soul takes to politics at its own peril.
and that's the it's a good segue for me to get into a little bit, if you go a few years back, a few decades back. When did you realize you'd become a lawyer, sir? I mean, what was the age that you decided, hey, I'm going to become a lawyer now, this is my profession?
Oh, this was very early. The moment I finished my graduation, 1975. Mm-hmm. 75, I finished law school. I finished graduation. And it was a split of a minute decision. In fact, I went all the way from Hyderabad to Delhi, and believe me, going from Hyderabad to Delhi for a middle class family in the 1970s was not as easy as we make it out to be today. I had to take a train, I had to get reservation, and I'll tell you, you won't believe it. I was talking on another podcast on integrity, how you need to build it. I needed a testimonial about myself when I was going to JNU for my JNU test. Mm-hmm. The admin in charge lecturer of youth affairs, who was teaching me public administration in college, wrote it, brought it to the railway station, signed and gave it to me when I was leaving. Now, this comes because of the effort you make, the repute you build, and you believe me, reputations are not built like brick and mortar. There's no plan. It happens on its own.
True.
And I think in 1975, when I had finished my graduation, I told people, okay, now I proved to all of you that I can study well, get rank. I've got a rank. Nothing very great about these kind of achievements. They're all by chance, someday.
But what is the ranks? I mean, if you may.
Till then, I don't know what happened after that. I was the first student in the history of the Osmania University to get rank number 2 in the entire university with economics as my subject. Those days, the problem why people with economics wouldn't get a rank was mathematics was also a part of the BA part. So people with math, applied math and statistics was a group.
Correct.
So they got all the ranks because they got all the marks. So in spite of it, when I got a rank, it was history in the making, but I really don't think so.
We didn't have the advertisements like we do, like second rank.
Even if I did, I would have junked it because I strongly believe that these victory stands are very temporary. They don't mean anything. Ask me what I studied, I don't know. When I did my patent law, let me tell you this. I went to Nalsad and did my patent law. So I was working, I had no time. I was shying off. I just did my projects, I gave it in. And just before the exams were coming in, I was shying off. Then Professor Vivekanand, who was running that course, said, Ravi, come on, go write the exam. Worst scenario, you're going to fail. Best scenario, you're going to pass and you move on. You've got a diploma in patent laws. So I gave myself, you won't believe this, then I just studied for 4 days, but I studied 4 into 24. I studied 4 into 20 at least. I put in 80 hours of work. I wrote the examination. I didn't care after that. I got some communication that I passed. I got some marks. I left it. I finished. One day I get a call from one High Court judge saying, hey Ravi, did you take an examination on IPR? I said, yeah, but how do you know? So he said, I don't know if you know this. The first 10 ranks in the country, the Chief Justice of India, who was the chief guest, gave away the degrees to the first 10 people. Your name was called, you were not there. So ranking is something that I'm more embarrassed than proud about. Because I know somewhere within me I don't deserve it.
So at that point of time, because you got the rank and you knew you wanted to become a lawyer, did you know what kind of lawyer and where will you practice?
I don't know even today what kind of a lawyer I want to be. I really don't think I became the lawyer I am because I planned it this way. I just became a lawyer because I thought law was a nice place. It gave me the freedom to think, talk. I thought talking and thinking were my USPs. I don't really think they are for a good lawyer, but I thought they were. It worked for me, that's all.
And at that point of time, whom did you first start working with, sir? And what was the experience then?
I was so lucky.
And is it the same right now, sir? If you compare it, if somebody is just coming into a bar right now and working with a senior,
there are lots of changes. I'll tell you. Firstly, I was very, very lucky. Extremely lucky. I joined an office where my senior had 3 sons, a son-in-law. In spite of it, I had my space in that office. In Mr. S. Venkat Reddy's office, where I started my bar practice, there was no don'ts for me. I was part of the family. To this date, I am part of the family. Every little... I keep talking about integrity. It is something that was seeped into me. I was inoculated with the theory. Don't care a damn if you achieve something or not. But if you have integrity, you will do well. Something that I will eternally be grateful to that office. And the other thing from Mr. Venkat Reddy's office that worked in my stead was we all worked as a team. I think lawyers need to understand that an office is a team. You can't outshine somebody in that office. And if I survived a family of such very good lawyers who are family, I defied nepotism, I defied family, I defied everything.
Caste and community as well.
Caste, community. All probably because I got into a lovely office. Maybe I would have suffered if I was somewhere else. I don't know, but that is hypothetical.
True.
I made the best use of what I could. The next question that you asked me is it the same now as it was before? I don't know. There are certain things I did not approve of in the past, which I have tried to democratize in my office. My office, I'm sure she will tell you, is reasonably democratized. Right from stop calling me sir. Everybody calls me LRC. We party, we have fun, we joke, we laugh. Same time, we deliver what we can. And we don't have verticals in the office. To this date, when a client comes, I tell them, please talk to Mayur for the logistics, talk to somebody else for the fees. I'm just here as the man who comes, opens his mouth, argues and goes. So I think we need to democratize offices. I don't know how democratic they are in other places. But during my time, they were quite feudal and vertical. And I hope they are not as feudal and vertical today for the simple reason that a lot of young blood has come in. And young blood understands that being feudal and being vertical is no longer in fashion.
True. And based on your experience and what you have seen in the span of 48 years, is there one particular case which put you on the spot, or you wish you had not done it, or something which changed you as a person completely? There's always these moments in every profession. For you in the legal profession, did you find something which either an year or a case or a client which it changed everything for you, sir, where you went from 0 to 100? And
I won't say something that I regretted, but there are cases that were springboards. For example, the Muslim reservation case. I was not, again, let me tell you, I'm not for or against Muslim reservation. I'm not on that aspect at all. I was asked to argue against them. I argued against them in 3 rounds and won in all the 3 rounds.
when was this? Which year was?
This was 19, when did the first one come? It was when Y.S. Rajshekhar became the chief minister.
Late 1990s.
The Congress said was come to pass. So they first came up with this 5% reservation. There also, if you really say regret, maybe resigning along with the Advocate General when the coup happened with Mr. N.T. Ramarao, but I did it on the principle that being a special government pleader is a post of trust between the Advocate General and the special government pleader. So if he goes, I must go. I must give credit to the incumbents who came in. They insisted that I should stay back, but I said, no, I will go. Maybe if I'd stayed back, my exposure could have been different. Only that as a minor. But otherwise, no, I've never embarrassed myself. That probably is because I have never bitten more than I can chew.
Did you learn this from somebody, sir, your parents or your first, or your teachers, or where did these qualities, where did you imbibe them from, sir? Is it a natural? Were you?
I think there's nothing extraordinary that I have learned. Between my parents, there was a very funny paradox. My father was a doctor, and one of those rare doctors who didn't have any money. All the money he had, he spent on building up his 3 daughters and me and his siblings and all them. By the time he retired, we went into a 2-bedroom flat and we lived in Malkajgiri those days, which was outside of the city. And we lived a very frugal life because we couldn't afford it. My father, the only two books I've seen him read is probably the Railway Guide and the Telephone Directory. My mother was an 8th class dropout. I've seen her read, in our days, we would get all the groceries on paper packets. She would read those.
Okay.
She was fluent in about English, Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, Bengali, Malayalam, about 8 to 9 languages. She was an amazing cook. She was a very good musician. She was very good with handwork and a voracious reader. She's read Perlis Buck, she's read Jane Austen, she's read Charles Dickens. And my sisters were both biologists. And, any plant on the table, she'll tell you which taxonomical family it belonged to. I think she left an impression on my mind. She left an impression, and she was very liberal. And I'll give you a small story on that. So liberal that there were no don'ts for me in my life. We'd gone to a cousin's wedding in Bengaluru. My cousins and I went out for a dinner after the wedding. Those days it was very rare, coming from a Tam family. Going out for dinners itself was highbrow. People said, "Oh, tu baar jaake khata kya?" So we went. Some of my cousins had liquor, etc. We came back home. It was about 12 o'clock in the night. I went to bed. My cousin started puking, or my uncle or somebody puked. And my father, being a doctor, knew why he was puking. So he went and woke up my mother. "See, your son is drinking." My mother just turned around and said, "Forget it. He won't have. He would have gone with them, yes, but drunk, no." That left such a huge moral responsibility on me. And that faith that this boy knows what to do, what not to do at the age of 19 was amazing. Now, again, my mother never told me, and I don't think it's right to say drinking is bad or smoking is bad. There's no morality attached to it. But somewhere with me, she gave me the feeling it's not necessary to do it, so I do it.
Okay.
So I think that is where, and the habit of reading teaches you a lot. The one thing I've done and I'm happy with in life is I've read voraciously.
Okay.
I think it'll leave a few impressions in your mind. Somewhere, you'll know this is what Spinoza did, or this is what Schopenhauer did, or this is what Bertrand Russell did, what Jawaharlal Nehru did, what Atal Bihari Vajpayee did back home. So all these great thinkers, influencers, they leave an impression on your mind, and subconsciously you begin to imitate some parts of their life. Maybe that.
And I agree with you, sir. I couldn't agree more, because I believe the one thing that distinguishes our profession from the other professions is reading is not an option in our profession. And the more we read, I think the better one gets as a lawyer. And when you are reading so many books, when you are doing so many other things apart from law, which we all know about, right? You write reviews, you go to channels and talk about everything under the sky. You go to judge the primary school kids for their debating competition,
and
go to moot courts for judge,
and a beauty contest,
and beauty contest. And my first interaction with you was looking at you question law students when I was in my first year of law in 1998, and moot court and in my college. And what motivates you to do all this, sir? And I've been your Ekalavya Sishya from a long time. You know that you are the Dronacharya to my Ekalavya, putting the
See, when I
why?
was a student, I used to do debates, I used to do quizzing. And there's little organizations called the Young Orators Club and the Benjamin Franklin. So whenever we went out, we were very small, we didn't have money, we didn't have the wherewithal, we didn't have cell phones those days. If I had to go and fix a speaker somewhere, I had to travel from Malkajgiri to, say, Jubilee Hills, which was those days
out of everywhere. Correct.
So go request, he'll say wait, then it'll take me an hour, then he'll come out and say yes, no. At that point of time, I told myself, anyone invites you to an event, they are respecting you.
Yes.
They have a need, and they recognize that you have something in you that answers that need. Don't act mighty. Walk an extra step if necessary and go and do it. It is something that I told myself in 1978, 79. And today when I look back, I think I've done it.
Yes, sir. And you've done it, and how it's totally been so inspirational personally for me. And I know a lot of people who actually look at you and say, he does that, why can't we do it? It's not everyone's cup of tea.
Oh,
as
no,
well, right?
actually, there are lots of people who say, oh, look at him, he's doing all this, what a waste of time.
Yes, because you don't get any money out of it.
Correct.
That brings me
Yeah.
to the question which I wanted to ask you, sir. Is money important, fame important, or knowledge important? What do you need to succeed
think,
in your life? Not just as a lawyer, as a person.
I think you need a little of all that, I won't deny. But I think it's internal peace. Now, I sound like a guru. That's not the idea. What I'm saying is, to each his own. I'll tell you a small story. I was traveling the car with my senior one day, and he was giving another lawyer a lift. And every time the other lawyer came in the car, he would talk about real estate and about building a house. He did this once. Then 4 years fast forward, again, opportunity, he was again in the car, again the same subject. So I asked him, sir, I thought you built a house 4 years ago, didn't you? So he said, Ravi, you must understand, just like in your community, knowledge, etc. is important, in our community, real estate is important. So forget the community denominator, but I think to each his own. Everybody has his own peace area. Some people garner peace by being alone. Some people garner peace by being together. I know people talk about me in cinema, so let me give you, there's a lovely scene in the film called Diwar, where Parveen Babi tells Amitabh Bachchan, यहाँ पे लोग इसलिए पी रहे हैं कि वो खुश है, थोड़े लोग इसलिए पी रहे हैं कि वो दुखी हैं, थोड़े लोग इसलिए पी रहे हैं कि अकेले हैं, थोड़े लोग इसलिए पी रहे हैं कि वो दोस्तों के साथ है. हर एक को कोई ना कोई कारण है, लेकिन हर एक आदमी पी रहा है. So all of us are drunkards. All of us yearn for something. What is the cocktail we are making? Are we taking it on the rocks? Is it this that I want, or am I trying this and am I developing a taste for it? I don't know. I really don't have an answer for it. All that I know is I have no authority to answer it. I haven't achieved enough to be a guru on these kind of topics. I can only tell you that I feel reasonably comfortable at the night when I read a good book and go to bed, or listen to some fine music and go to bed.
Fantastic, sir. Now, there's this famous psychologist I follow, and I hold him dear to what I am as a person, Jordan Peterson. You must have heard about him, and a lot of wonderful things that he said. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I do believe one of the statements, and I thought I'd take your view on it. He once mentioned that a tough situation, which you're talking about, the middle class, going to Delhi in a train and all, produces a tough person to handle any situation. And the tough person, the next generation, is a little soft because you've given them everything as privilege.
Correct.
And then that situation again gets you a tougher situation. And is it the cycle? Do you believe that is happening in India right now? Do you think we are getting a little soft or a little too sensitive?
I have no doubts that we are getting soft. I have no doubts that more your generation than mine are offering everything on the platter to the kiddos.
Guilty as charged.
And doing it not, of course, out of a lot of love, affection and responsibility, but also some kind of moral soul cleansing. I didn't get it, let him get it. I didn't get it, let him get it. Or also, I'm not able to spend so much time with him, therefore let me do this for him. I'm not able to spend enough time with him, so let him watch television. Or I don't want him to spend extra time with him, let him watch television. Now, to some extent it works, it's nice. But then suddenly one day you wake up to see that you've opened the Pandora's box. There are worms crawling all over your legs.
Yes.
Please, young lawyers, understand. You get into a rut it's so difficult to come out of it. The best way is, if you have that much of energy, work in climbing up rather than climbing back to where you were. So stay away from many issues that are likely to throw long shadows on your integrity, your character, your capacity. I don't know if life is a goal. If you tell yourself, I want to do this in 5 years, I want to do this in 10 years, I want a BMW. I never thought that. I never said, 10 ఏళ్లలో ఇల్లు కట్టాలి, 15 ఏళ్లలో పెద్ద కారు ఉండాలి.
No deadlines, no deliverables.
No deadlines. They happened.
Correct.
I was lucky it happened. There are ways of looking at it and saying, 20 ఏళ్ళకి మా కుక్క కూడా దీనికంటే మంచి పెళ్లి చేస్తుంది. Can be, but I'm happy with where I am. You know, at the end of the day, what do you want? You want to be comfortable in your skin. You want to have liquor, please go. There's nothing wrong about it, but know where to draw the line.
And I think that's the difference with this generation as to, they should know when to
The
stop.
importance, just because your purse can afford, don't do things.
And there's also this huge talk right now. It's a little sensitive, but I know you are a straight shooter. I've never seen you to hide behind anything for any question. This entire generation in this country, not just our generation, your generation, and the generation afterwards, my son's generation, they've all become very sensitive to issues. There's a lot of polarization happening. There's only black and white. You cannot be gray. What do you think? So what's your opinion? You have on one side somebody like a J. Sai Deepak and Professor Rangana, they're talking, and on the other side you have a Mamta Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee and
polarization is
and not just politicians, but even in the profession, every profession, doctors, lawyers,
Why? I'll
engineers.
tell you, polarization is a huge challenge. For example, if I appear for one X, he's X.
Yes.
I am in a profession where I've appeared for, let me tell you, I've appeared for Chandrababu Naidu. I've appeared for N.T. Ramarao. I've appeared for Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy. I've appeared for Bhatti Vikramanka. I've appeared for Karunanidhi. I've appeared for Bandi Sanjay. So I've appeared for every political party. And I've appeared for Varavara Rao. So I've appeared for every I've appeared for Professor Kodanrao. So I've appeared for every political party name, but its name. And other political parties have not come to me. It's because they have not thought I'm good enough. Fair enough. So polarization is because we seem to have the time to constantly sit and arrogate to ourselves the right to judge people. I have always believed, don't judge. I've told a judge once in an open court, judge without being judgmental. It's so important. Right? It is, వీడు మంచోడు, వాడు చెడ్డోడు, ఎవడు మంచోడండి, ఎవడు చెడ్డోడు?
మనకు నచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ మంచోళ్ళు.
And don't polarize people on political beliefs. Are we very sensitive? Extremely sensitive. We, on the one hand, we talk about we becoming very liberal today. We are a liberal society. Let me ask you the simple question. When I started writing film reviews, I would talk about Sridevi's body structure and say, what is this? Thunder thighs was an expression I used about Sridevi 30, 40 years ago. I would be tanned today if I use an expression like that. And what are we talking about? We are talking about a more liberal society. Now, today we are so sensitive that that will go as male, everything has a name, body shaming. We have expressions which gain circulation in a minute, and we don't like any kind of criticism.
Correct.
If we are in public life, we have no choice. You are going to be minutely dissected.
You have to be prepared for it and
Very prepared for it. I'll tell you, I have reported cases against me in court. I'll tell you, when I became a special government pleader, it was challenged in court. What is so special about the special government pleader was a quote that the lawyer argued. I put it in the newspaper. I gave it currency because I thought, if that's his view, let it be known to people. Don't be shy about what you do. Nehru writes this beautifully to Indira. He tells her, grow as a child of light. If you do something hiding, You know what you're doing
And
is
just because you said something good about Nehru doesn't mean you are a Nehruvian.
correct. But I am.
Thank
But having said that, let me tell you that he said that grow as a child of light. If you're hiding something, it imperatively means that you know that you're doing is wrong.
So coming back to, one of the topics you were mentioning, which I caught about, was reservations, sir. It's a topic which is very close to my heart. I have been at one end of the spectrum at times and the other end at times. And I've had different views at growing up as a child and different views after growing up. I understood a few things. But what is your view and position on it, sir?
Okay, I hope I have a one-word answer for it. It's not easy. The cake is getting smaller, the aspirants are becoming larger. One. But don't forget that people belonging to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes are still way behind. True. And they are way more inhibited from joining mainstream. And reservation constitutionally was looked upon as one of the best ways of an inclusive growth pattern. So I'm for reservation, yes. However, you said you were a part of the recipient. My wife got a certain rank when she was doing her post-graduation in medical school. And there was somebody a few thousand ranks below her who got into MD gynecology, and she could only get into a diploma, though she was in the first 100 ranks for dermatology. So she's a huge axe to grind against reservation. But I think we need to sensitively understand that the lifestyle, the process of understanding the world, the socio-economic dynamics, the inheritance of knowledge doesn't come so easily. The scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe, and the economically backward or the OBCs suffer even today.
True.
They need space.
So,
is the space the right space they are getting within our system today? The answer is no. Because you know that certain families, certain groups are taking away that cake in their name. Even among the scheduled castes, they have a fight today that one versus the other has taken away most of the percentage. Yep. The Malas have taken away most of what both the Malas and the Madigas and the others were legitimately entitled to. Now, legitimate expectation has gone up. Balancing reservation is not being done because it's a political agenda. No political party wants to stand up and say, no, only this much. We'll get stricter with who gets in, but we will do more for who gets in, is the policy that they should have, and they don't have. Because they are becoming more liberal at the entry point. What they do to them inside is becoming less. How many judges really do we have from the Dalit community? Are they really as bad? Maybe they are. But then what do we do? Aren't they part of us?
But are we not responsible for it, sir?
No, you are not responsible for it. But you have a certain advantage which he subconsciously has been denied. So somewhere this race will have to equalize itself. We cannot continue to talk and say, I didn't suffer, my great-grandfather did it, I did not. But have you read the book Homo sapiens? Homo sapiens talks about how generationally certain things become genetic.
Correct.
So my lifestyle is genetic. I've got it from my great-grandfather. The poor Dalit has got it from the rejection genes that has come to him over a period of time. It will take time. So the 10-year theory that people keep throwing is an impractical theory. It was thrown in just to see that we have some goals at the end of 10 years. Century may not be enough. And if we are going like this, we are going, the cause is good, the methodology is wrong.
What can lawyers do about it? What do you think as a community?
Lots. One, I think, in our own little offices, spaces, let us give more for people who don't come from privileged communities. Am I doing it? I don't know. Maybe not, because nobody's come to my office. And whoever's come underprivileged, I've treated them as well as I can. I've given them every possible privilege that a normal person should get. I'll tell you, to this date in my own house, the Deepam is kept by a Dalit boy in my house. In the temple of my house, it's a Dalit who comes and lights the lamp. What else can we do in the profession? Stop grudging when they get something. But for them, they also have something to do. They must stop wearing this as a scar or as a badge. They must aspire to inclusivity and tell them, instead of saying, what post can I get? Say, how can I do better in my profession? ఇలాంటి ప్రశ్నలు మనం మనల్ని అడుక్కుంటే, నేను వ్యవస్థలో ఎట్లా బాగా వ్యవస్థలో ఎలా ఉండాలి అనడం అడుగి బ్రతకడం మంచిది. నేను వ్యవస్థలో ఈ పొజిషన్కి ఆ పొజిషన్కి ఎట్లా రావాలి అనుకుంటే మాత్రం ఆ పప్పులోనే మనం కాలు పెడతాం.
True, sir. And very few people know about it, but you've also been quite active trying to do something for the society through your profession, right? As a amicus curiae sometimes, as a public interest litigant sometimes at the peril of losing your own practice as well. You've never bothered about it. Did that?
I'll tell you one incident during COVID. You won't.
Yeah,
I think you will remember this. One night, 2:00, I get a call from a lady. She says, "Sir, they're not discharging me from the hospital." I said, "Why?" She said, "Bill not paid." I said, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm a COVID warrior." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I'm a doctor. I'm a government doctor. I'm a government doctor in a hospital which treats patients for COVID. And I got admitted because of COVID in a hospital and they're not discharging me." I said, "If all these facilities were there with you, why are you not in a government hospital?" She said, "Sir, the only mistake I made is it's near to my house. I went into that hospital." So that night at 2:00, I had to call people. I had to use influence. And let me tell you this, I am never embarrassed of calling up people and saying, "Can you please do this favor?" Why? Because I'm not asking it for myself. I'll call up Suyodan and say, "Suyodan, I want 5 lakhs because I'm doing an event." I don't mind calling up a D.V. Sitaramurthy or a Sri Raghuram or a B.S. Prasad and say, "I want money for this event, for that occasion, for this, for that." The other day, some students wanted to go for an international moot. They didn't have money. So I called up I gave them a couple of lawyers' number. I gave them a small contribution and go. So this is because I'm able to do it because it's not for me. The diffidence will come if you have a personal interest. If you have a societal interest, understand it's not your job, you're adding to the job. Therefore, be free to ask.
Correct. And when you are in this elections to be a president, sir, you have been there, done that, and you have some kind of a vision what you want. Are there any 3 or 5 or 7 things you want to do? Is there a number of things you want to do? Is there one particular thing you want to do?
The one definite thing I want to do is to ensure greater need for a negotiability between the bar and the bench. I want the bench to stop believing that they own this institution. This institution has 2 sides, the bar and the bench. I will be a very happy man, firstly, if I win the election, and having won it, if I do, to ensure that the bar gets its respectable place, both in society and with the bench. Today, we still have bar. And those guys who go on strike. And I want to make it very clear, as a president, if I become one, I'm not going to fight shy of telling people members of the bar have a right to go on strike. The other thing I would like to do is see, this is a huge channel, see if there is some permanent method by which diffident lawyers learn to fight diffidence. I'm not talking about economics. I'm talking about a cultural diffidence. అరే బయట ఊర్ల నుంచి వస్తారు, ఇక్కడ పెద్ద పెద్ద మనుషులను చూస్తారు, భయపడిపోతారు. ఎందుకు భయపడాలి? మేమేం పెద్ద తురుంకాన్లమా? మేము కూడా అట్లనే కష్టపడి వచ్చినాం. నేను ప్రొఫెషన్కి వచ్చినప్పుడు నాకు 2 ప్యాంట్లు షర్ట్లు, నేను ఆ కారు లేకుండే. బస్సులో మల్కాజ్గిరి ట్రైన్లో నుంచి బస్సులో నుంచి వచ్చి ఆర్టీసీ క్రాస్ రోడ్స్ నుంచి గాంధీనగర్ రోజు నడిచేవాడిని. దీపావళి పండగకి భార్యకి నాకు పెళ్ళి అయిన 2 సంవత్సరాలకి రెంట్కి డబ్బులు లేకపోతే మా మామగారు ఇచ్చారు. సో you don't become big or you don't become successful suddenly.
Correct.
కొన్ని మనం తగ్గించుకోవాలి, నేర్చుకోవాలి, కొంచెం మనుషులతో కలవాలి. నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు, నేను వీళ్ళు ఈ జడ్జి చెప్తే వింటాడా, ఆ జడ్జి నన్ను తిట్టాడు, ఏం అక్కర్లేదు. రవి చంద్ర లాంటోడు ఈ ప్రొఫెషన్లో సక్సెస్ అయ్యాడు ఎవడైనా.
Yes, sir. And if you were to, this is a different kind of, I wouldn't want to conclude this, but what is one question you would want to ask the people practicing right now? If you want to ask a question of the fraternity.
Are you really happy doing what you are? Answer this question honestly.
Fantastic, sir. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. I know it's a drop in the ocean. We would love to continue this. We would love to continue
Anytime,
this.
anytime.
Have more conversations, deeper on more meaningful subjects, more varied variety of subjects. And
Anytime. It will be my pleasure.
Thank you so much for your.
I love listening to my voice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.